What's happening? This is episode 8, American Hammers TV. I can't believe we've done 8 episodes already in just over a month. It's kind of nuts because when we started this, we had planned on doing one a week, and it's just snowballed because of the support of all the different supporters groups for West Ham in the United States. They're lining up to join our show, and we hope to promote every single one of them and also try to encourage a lot of you to start your own supporters groups in the country and get out there and start watching the games in the pubs, in the bars, and supporting the Irons. So that said, we have a special guest tonight out of Oklahoma, and his name's Jared. And after we speak with him for about a half an hour, we're going to tap into the awesome Newcastle match that just happened, and then give a little preview of the Cardiff match coming up on next Saturday. So, Jared, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Appreciate you having me on. Just to let you know, I've watched every episode. I was about halfway through Queen City. Didn't get to finish it, but I really appreciate what you guys are doing. It's awesome.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome, Jared. We appreciate you having you on, or you being on. Listen, before we get into stuff, there's one quick thing I want to say. Tim and I talked about this today. Anybody who's watching, Jared, you too, everybody who's watching, when you all go to the pub, when you go to watch a game, just if you'll do us a favor, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Take a little video of yourself or of a friend at the pub and just talk about why you like West Ham, what you do for your traditions at your pub. I'm talking about like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever. Point the phone at the guy next to you or the person next to you and say, hey, why do you like West Ham? What's your deal? Send it to us. Send it to us on American Hammer 3 on Twitter, or go on our Facebook, or go on our Instagram. Anywhere you can tweet it, you can direct message it. I don't care. I think we even have an email, don't we, Tim?
We do. AmericanHammersTV@gmail.com.
American Hammers TV. There you go. So what we want to do is we just want to get little reactions from people, just saying, hey, I love West Ham because I think claret and blue are great colors, or my dad was from East London, or whatever your reasoning is. And just tell us, what's the thing you like best about your match day, your match day experience. I love drinking. I love the football. I love the bubble machine in Columbus, whatever it is. Quick things. We want to put these up on our channel because what we want is to be a place where everybody who's an American West Ham supporter can come and get a feel for what's happening in the rest of the country. We can all be together in one place, even if it's sort of virtually on YouTube. So if you guys would do that for us, that would be fantastic. And we'll be the place that kind of aggregates it and puts it all up. And with that, I won't delay anymore because we're very glad to have Jared here with us.
Also post-match reactions, instantly. If you guys are at the pub, your instant post-match reactions or halftime reactions or right before the game, anything you can send us. We're more than happy to put it all together and put it on YouTube.
If you catch a goal celebration, on your phone, send it to us. It absolutely post-match. Tell us what you thought. We want to put all this stuff up and kind of aggregate it. We want to have all these videos in one place so people can come to our channel, and we want it to be everybody's channel. Not just for the two of us. It's for everybody in the U.S. who supports West Ham. We want to bring everybody together. So
that's awesome.
But we're really excited to have Jared with us, despite the fact that he's from Oklahoma.
Come on.
No. I'm only. You all know I grew up in Texas, but I love Oklahoma, and I will say that Jared is a fine gentleman because he's not an Oklahoma Sooner. He's an Oklahoma State Cowboy.
There you go.
Already established that, all right? I'm a Horned Frog. I went to TCU. He's a Cowboy from Oklahoma. We get being the underdog, all right? This is what we were talking about before we came on. Part of the reason I think we love West Ham is we're not Longhorns. We're not Sooners. We're not winners. We're the little guys. So with that, Jared, give us a little background, if you would, on how you came to West Ham from a town of 500 people in Oklahoma. I love it.
Yeah, big old Alex, Oklahoma. You can look it up. So, again, thank you guys so much for having me on. It all started, I've watched the videos, and it's been kind of startling to me that almost, quite a few have said the FA Cup run in 2006. Was kind of the, at least got them started with West Ham. I'm pretty similar to that as well. I'm probably going to take some flack for this, so please bear with me. The first time I heard of West Ham United was because of Green Street Hooligans.
That's okay.
No, that's common.
That's not too. A lot of people say that.
Not too out there.
It
yeah,
doesn't
you
matter
know,
how you come. It doesn't matter how you come to the church. It only matters that you come to the church.
there you go.
That's right.
There you go. That's a better way to look at it. No, I just, I've seen, because of Twitter, and I've seen the, the abuse some people take or send out when there's they bring up the movie. But
I've seen the movie. I like the movie. All right, I'm not saying it's a great
love it.
movie, but I enjoyed it. Of course, I enjoyed it. It's fantastic.
I'd love to have Elijah Wood in the show, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we should
Charlie
Elijah
Hunnam,
Wood.
great
Oh
actor.
God, we should do that. We're gonna mark Elijah Wood if you're out there. I'm sure you're watching.
I'm sure he's watching. Right?
Call us. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so that was the first I'd ever heard of West Ham was Green Street Hooligans. I was very interested in the a lot of the things like the singing. I didn't realize that the pub, the pre-match stuff. I was like, is this real? This is how they get ready for a soccer game? And it really caught my interest. And it was the next year was 06, the Cup run, and good buddy of mine that runs the account with me. His name's Wimbo. That's his last name. But he dove into it a lot harder, a lot faster than I did. And I kind of got updates from him, for a good 7-8 years. He would tell me like, hey man, how's West Ham doing this year? And he'd tell me because he would follow it online. Whereas, being here in Oklahoma, obviously we've got one pro team, but we didn't for a long time. Most of my childhood growing up, it was all about OU football. Like that was it. And if you're an OSU fan, yeah, you look for OSU. But I got a lot of updates from him when I moved to more when the streaming became available, when they had the NBC, as a sports package for cable. That was when I was able to really dive into it. And I've heard a lot of people talk about, have like the old days of just getting to catch highlight shows on Fox Sports, 30 minutes a day. I didn't ever go through that. So, I hope you guys forgive me. I'm relatively speaking, I'm in the last 5 years is really dug in, and I'm very passionate about it. I really love West Ham, but I don't know a lot about the history. What I do know, I pick up from other Twitter accounts or things that I've seen. But pre 2005, 2006, I didn't have any hands-on experience other than FIFA. The game FIFA literally helped me a ton. Now I was way into international, to like the U.S. men's national team. I followed them religiously, starting in my teenage years, which would have been, the mid 90s.
Right.
So I followed them heavily and did the best I could with that. But, didn't really dive into West Ham until the last 5 years or so.
You're a hammer, man. It doesn't matter when you start. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that. I was like, I called.
No, that's the story of all of them.
No, man. Yeah.
We all
have different stories.
The beauty of it, Jared, as you know, is that it doesn't matter whether you started following West Ham yesterday. Nobody's going to call you a glory hunter. Nobody's going to call you a bandwagon.
That's the truth.
Because that's part of the reason I love West Ham is that all of us, whenever we win another trophy, whatever that may be, hopefully soon, but whatever it is and whenever it is, all of us can say we were here during the bad times.
You know how much of a glory hunter I am? I had a Vancouver Grizzlies Bryant Reeves jersey.
Yes!
All right, that's my OSU link right there. But that's dude. I always love the underdog.
Can I tell a very quick story about Big Country that I read in Sports Illustrated years ago?
Sure.
So, he's from a small town in Oklahoma, so it's relevant. He went to Oklahoma State, right? He was an OSU guy. Didn't he go to Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he
the Final Four in '94.
Right. He's from a small town in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. So the team was flying to somewhere, I don't know, outside, somewhere on the East Coast. I think it was New York for a tournament of some sort. Anyway, so he's in the plane and he looks down and he sees a city down below and he says, wow, it's so big. The plane was flying over Tulsa.
Yeah.
I've always loved that. I mean, he was like, oh, look at that city down there. It was Tulsa. Big Country was great, man.
He's from a really small town. His son, did you know his son plays for Oklahoma State right now?
Does he?
Yeah, he's he's not a scholarship player. He gets, trash can minutes there at the end of a bad blowout. But I thought it was pretty cool. He looks a lot like him. He's not nearly as big. He's about
when they're beating TCU, for instance, probably.
It's a down year for OSU basketball for sure.
Yeah, I honestly, college football, yes, we'll do that. We'll talk about that some other time off the show. But
sure.
I don't really follow college basketball. But yeah, no, we're not, as you know, definitely not glory hunters. A lot of Americans got into West Ham through Green Street, and I mean the thing is, okay, it's not the most maybe realistic movie, but it's entertaining. You know, it's fun. As I've mentioned this here before. Most of the English West Ham fans I've talked to say if you want to see a good movie about hooligans, there's one called The Firm.
The Firm, yeah, with Gary Oldman. Yep.
The Firm was Gary Oldman's first role ever that I know of. And it came out. It was BBC. It was made for BBC, and it came out in the '80s.
I think it's on Amazon Prime. If you guys have Amazon Prime Video, check it out.
And it's excellent. It's really well done. It's it's a gripping movie, so it's totally worth watching. And from what I understand, that's a pretty realistic depiction of what was.
Yeah, it was quite hardcore.
Yeah, it's good. So anyway, that's that's a little bit of that. But I love the fact that I think it's a real testament to soccer as a sport, not just West Ham, but soccer as a sport, that you could get into it in a town of 500 people in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Because again, we're not talking about a place. I'm guessing there weren't a lot of people playing the sport where you grew up. Although I could be wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. And I was that's what I was going to touch on next. I played a lot of sports. Like I played every sport they would let me in high school. There wasn't a lot to do in Alex America, so I played football. I actually made All-State football. A little self-praise there, but
nice.
I was a football player, basketball, baseball, and track. Like I did everything I could, but soccer. I had no idea. There was a bigger town to the west called Chickasha, Oklahoma. That was the nearest place that had it. In their high school and junior high played it, but I didn't have interest in it until I was about a teenager, and I watched Alexi Lawless and Landon Donovan and those guys. Like that's what got me into it. And everything that I discovered, I had to discover on my own or through a guy that was dating my sister, ended up marrying her. He was a big Liverpool supporter. And, he kind of he showed me a few things, and he was a soccer player also. But yeah, you're right on. There was no support for soccer in my small town.
Well, there wasn't in mine either when I was growing up, and I'm from a town outside of Dallas that's pretty. It was not as it had 5,000 people when I was growing up. We talked about this before we started. Mm-hmm. There is a soccer team in the high school now, and it's pretty good. But when I was growing up, there was nothing like that. We had youth soccer, and that was it. Everybody stopped playing at the age of 12 and went off.
Yeah,
football.
Exactly.
I played in the band, because I'm such a tough guy. I played trombone in the band, but yeah, it just wasn't something that people took seriously. So.
Right.
It's a four-sport country. I mean,
right.
It was, especially like you said in your teenage years, probably about the same as mine. I mean, the 90s, like especially the late 80s, early 90s, it was baseball, basketball, football, hockey.
Right.
Those are the major sports, and especially, there's other sports and stuff like that in high school, but I'm talking, in general, soccer was that other thing that the other kids played, the ones that couldn't play football or hockey or whatever. But it's just the opposite in every other country in the world. But it finally just started. I don't know what happened exactly, but it grew and grew and grew slowly, and then all of a sudden, boom, and then slow again, and another big boom. I think it was the World Cup years, maybe.
World Cup that got it restarted.
Yeah. But then now that it's televised, I think that has been a huge, huge help. Not just the Premier League, but Bundesliga and La Liga and beIN Sports being invented a few years ago, or at least aired here. That also helped quite a bit, showing French soccer, professional soccer. Even Fox Sports Plus has Scottish League. It's just the exposure of all these different leagues of the world, and obviously most recently the last 3 years or 4 years, the Premier League, which is to me the best league in the world. And it's starting to finally catch on mainstream America, which is kind of cool. And movies like Green Street Hooligans too.
Yeah,
well, exactly, but
America couldn't ignore it anymore. They're like, hey, this is number one everywhere else for a reason.
Exactly. So Green Street Hooligans, that's another thing that kind of helped get it out there a little bit to certain people, and there's been a few movies since of different styles, but it's getting out there now, and that's great. But even another help is also people either find it. We've been noticing people either find West Ham through television now, but before then it was Green Street Hooligans, but even before that, it's relatives or people moving over from England or from East London to the States, and then them finding them at the pub and figuring what they're supporting, or friends that way, or coworkers that are English even, or say you had a grandparent like me. My grandparents and, you know, on their side, you know, was from England. So that's how we all did it.
Absolutely. I again, it's all that matters is that you come to it and you make the right choice and you support West Ham, because it's. One of the things we want to show by doing this show is that we have the most fun and interesting people supporting us, and that if you look at American supporters of the bigger clubs, they're so boring. They're so they have no sense of humor. They can't handle anything. They don't enjoy themselves at all. We always have a good time no matter what. And I think if you look at West Ham support in England, it's the same way. So I know you don't have a big group, and that's okay. You guys are dedicated. You're getting started. So tell us where you watch the games in Oklahoma City and kind of what your tradition is there.
Sure. So, I mentioned that the three of us, and that's me, Paul, and Wimbo, we're the three right now. That's it. And, we're looking like we want to grow it. We want to, if this wasn't out, hey, this was us messing around on Twitter. Like, this is our statement. Hey, we want to grow. Like, if there are other people in Oklahoma City that are doing the same thing that we are, then let's get together, and we have a place. Like, we've gone to a few matches, but, we both, me and Wimbo both had kids, and kind of weren't able to get out as much, get to a pub on a Saturday or Sunday morning.
I get that. Yep. Yeah.
So Skinny Slims here in Oklahoma City. It's a really, really good place, and a lot of different fans there. And it's really good, but it's been pretty sparing. They're really big for USMT, man. MNT. They're really big for the national matches, and we started doing that, and then they said, well, we'll open up on a Sunday at 6 a.m. or Saturday at 6 a.m. We're like, really? So
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
We went to a couple, and we don't really have a tradition right now. You guys probably saw I posted a picture of me and my son getting ready to watch the kickoff. That's it, for the most part. Or every once in a while we'll go to each other's houses and watch. But yeah, we didn't get to the pub as much. But I literally just told my fiance, I said, you know what? I said, this. I'm going to start it. I want to go this Saturday, so I'm going to send out an open invite. Anybody in the area, we're going to be at Skinny Slims. I'm going to get there around 8:45 and hopefully get that going.
Lee and I have this ongoing conversation about how many American West Ham fans there are, and I told him, as a matter of fact, today that, like, listen, we can't really, we'll never know exactly how many there are in the United States, but I have a feeling that it's a lot more than you'd think. And it's just that they're not necessarily on all the sorts of social media there are, or maybe they are, they just haven't found you yet. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, there's probably a good, 10, 20 other people within an hour's drive of you that would love to go watch a game with you guys. And, you got to figure out a way we got to help try to find them for you. And that's what this show is all about, is trying to, even the bigger groups. I mean, I guarantee you, like, the groups that have 40, 50, 60 people going to their, events, their matches, there's got to be another 20 plus that never went and never even knew that they were going.
Yeah.
Or that aren't on social media looking up, the Hammers groups. Well, so that's what this.
And there are people who are just getting into soccer, or they're just, maybe they've been watching the Premier League. They haven't chosen a club to quote unquote. They don't have a follower. They're not following anybody yet. They don't have a loyalty to any club. I mean, these are the kind of people, you invite them. It's like inviting them to church, right? You invite them and they get into it. I know that I have a couple of friends, a couple of really close friends I've known for many years, and they're West Ham fans now. They don't quite follow it as closely as I do, but we've gotten together. We've watched games before. Tim, these are people you haven't even met. We've watched games together in the past, and we'll discuss the results from time to time. And, again, we don't live particularly close together anymore, but I've tried to kind of bring them into the fold. And I think that's something that we can all do. And, it takes a special kind of person to support West Ham, right? It's not just anybody can do it.
Absolutely.
You got to be willing to say, it's okay that we're not going to be, chasing the title every season. And it's okay that we're going to be a relegation battle from time to time. And that's just something I can live with, because it's for the love of the club. And I think the love of the game too. So how many kids do you have?
I've got two. So Jackson, my oldest, he's 8 years old, big time soccer player. He's in youth soccer right now. He's really good. He actually asked if he could jump on and say hello earlier.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, have him on. Have him on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Have him on.
Jackson, come here, bud.
My 8-year-old is asleep.
Yeah, they're getting ready for bed right now.
We're an hour ahead of him, right?
Yeah,
we're in Central Time.
I'm in Central. Yeah.
Yeah. So how old's your other kid?
Elliot, my daughter, she is 5.
8 and 5. My kids are 8 and 5.
Oh, look at that.
I have 2 boys. Isaac is 8 and Andrew is 5. Hey, Jackson.
Hi.
How you doing,
Hey.
man?
Look at him. He's rocking his OSU.
All right. Looking good. Looking good.
Hey, what do you say, brother?
There you go, man.
Are you a West Ham fan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a boy.
Do you have a favorite player?
Lanzini.
Ah, there you
Lindsay,
go.
that's a good choice.
That's a good choice. That's excellent. And do you play soccer yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. Or is it, so let me tell you, I have a son who's your age. All right. My son is 8. He's asleep, even though there's no school tomorrow because it's going to snow. He's asleep anyway. So
I haven't told him yet.
no, I did. I made the mistake of telling him that. I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, so yeah, that's anyway. I tell you, he's supposed to be asleep. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so where I live, I coach my son's team, and they play 4-on-4. All right, it's a very like simple version of the game. It's 4-on-4. There's not a lot of So what do you play? Do you play like full 11 versus 11, or do you play 7-on-7, or what do you do?
7-on-7.
7-on-7. That's excellent. Are you in 2nd grade or 3rd grade?
Second.
2nd grade. Yeah. See, Isaac's in 2nd grade. For some reason, here in Chelmsford, maybe in Lowell too, Tim. I'm not really sure, but here in Chelmsford, they do 4-on-4 through 2nd grade. They start 7-on-7 in 3rd grade. So,
Correct. Yep.
So you're getting ahead then.
Yep.
So, do you think you're going to play for West Ham someday?
Maybe.
That's, yeah. It's funny because English soccer is where the money's at. So if you want to make your dad a lot of money, you should try to play English soccer.
Do it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. So, do you have a position that you play on your team, or do you just play wherever the coach asks you to play?
He asked me to play, but wherever. But I mostly play midfield.
Nice. You look a little bit like Declan Rice. Are you a fan of Declan Rice?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. I am too. You got, I see a little bit of Declan Rice in you. So do you score a lot of goals? Or are you more of a defensive midfielder?
I score a lot of goals and defense.
There you
He's an
go.
all-around
He's
player.
a box to box.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right on.
That's great. And do you play for your town, or do you play against other towns, or what's your league like?
You're an academy.
Yeah. So I play a lot of tournaments.
Ooh.
Yeah, he plays for an academy. They're based out of Norman.
Okay.
Celtic. Yeah. So this is his first full year of academy soccer.
That's smart. That's good, man.
Yeah, it kind of steps up. It's different than the rec league. Everybody just volunteer parents out there. Not a big deal. Like the academy, it stepped up.
He's actually learning something. Yeah.
Yeah, Isaac played club. He played futsal club last winter, and it's a very different experience from playing town soccer, which is what we do in Chelmsford. What I coach is town soccer, volunteer.
Same. Yeah, I did the same. I coached some of his other teams.
Yeah, but the club stuff is much more serious. So
You get what you pay for.
no, you do.
Yeah, his coach is actually from East London.
No way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Is he a West Ham fan?
No, I couldn't believe it.
Oh,
Who does he support?
Manchester guy, isn't he? Isn't he Manchester United?
He's Arsenal.
Arsenal. That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
And my nickname is Jax.
Jax?
Yeah, he
calls-
calls me all the time.
he calls you Jax.
Jax, yeah, with that East London accent, it's pretty fun to hear out there on the field.
That's
Yeah,
pretty.
he called my what was it? We had Jack Collison over for a couple years ago for a youth camp, and he called my son Maxie. My son's name's Max. But that thick British accent, it's kind of funny.
I call your son Maxie too, though, with a Texas accent. So
With a Texas.
I have another friend with a son named Max. I say Maxie all the time, but so do you watch games with your daddy?
Yes.
Do you go? Have you ever gone to the? Have you ever gone to the pub to watch to Skinny? Was it called Skinny Slims?
Skinny Slims? No, it's not an all age. It's
Oh, okay, okay. I was wondering if it was like a restaurant or if it was, yeah.
no, it's pretty small. I think my kitchen is probably bigger than the whole bar.
Nice.
It's
And so you watch at home?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the game against Newcastle this past yesterday?
Yes, I watched the whole game.
Oh,
Awesome.
awesome!
It was a great game to watch.
It was a great game to watch. Did you have a favorite part?
My favorite part was the very first goal.
That was beautiful.
Rice's goal? Yeah,
Gave me chills. Yeah.
yeah, I loved it. And then he his
was
celebration. I don't know what his celebration was. It was some sort of
shoulder thing. I'm not sure what he was doing.
somebody called it the gun lean. I don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, it's like a video. It's like I guess it's a rap song or something.
Okay, so that's why I don't know what it means.
I literally saw somebody, put the video up and they put Declan's face on the guy, and he's.
Oh, no way.
I had no idea what was going on either.
Yeah, if I would have known if it had been like a reference to Iron Maiden, or or maybe like Buck Owens. But I'm not going to help you much with.
All right, but can you tell him bye? Tell him thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming on.
Awesome having you. All right, sleep. Have
All right,
have
take care.
a night sleep, buddy. That is so awesome. That is so cool. I'm so glad he came on. Oh, I cannot let my son watch this. He'll be so angry. both of my boys will be like, "Why don't we ever get to go on?" Because we do this at 9:00 at night.
Oh, God, mine's upstairs playing Fortnite, so leave him up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God. So, yeah, let's talk about the games, and let's get a little segue there.
Yeah, awesome. All right.
So, the first thing I was thinking was that I regret that I'm not old enough or English enough to have watched Billy Bonds play in any series.
Oh man, yeah, for sure.
Because if you watch any, highlights of him, clips, whatever,
He was an animal.
every West Ham player,
Yeah.
799 appearances for one club. It's a shame he didn't play one.
I know. I saw that
Right.
number. I was just like, "What are you doing?"
Maybe they could have signed him and subbed him in for the last minute of Newcastle just so he got a day.
That would have been funny.
Just since we were leading, just give him a run out. Give him a run out. But I mean, I don't think you could find an athlete who's more tied to a club, right, than Billy Bonds is to West Ham. I mean, he's emblematic of the club. He's like, I don't know, George Brett in Kansas City, or I can't even. I'm having trouble thinking of Mickey.
Tony Gwynn, the Padres, yeah.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn. That's a good example. Especially since they never win anything either. But but no. So I thought the way people criticize the board a lot, and I get that. And we've decided to be nice to the board because we wanted to invite us over for a match. So we've decided we're going to be. But I thought the ceremony was fantastic, and it looked like a really, really nice event. And so, wonderful for everybody who was there. I don't know. So, Jared, tell us. I don't know. Tell us what you thought. What stood out for you?
The first thing that stood out to me, when you see the team sheet and you see Manu, you see Lanzini right there in the starting 11, and my heart just jumped. I was so happy. Jackson, that's the kind of player he wants to be. He wants to be an attacking midfielder that's
Good,
creative with the ball, and that's why he was drawn to him. He was a huge Payet fan, and it was so hard to explain to him what happened.
I was too. I was too.
Man, he's like, but why doesn't he play for us? I'm like, oh, gosh, he doesn't want to, like, flat out. He doesn't want to play here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seeing Lanzini back in the starting lineup was the biggest thing for me. And, just that opening goal, it just felt great. It just felt great to watch the entire match. A couple of shaky moments, but Fabianski just continuing to do what he does. He's been so consistent. But, to see Declan score again and Chicharito doing what he does, getting in a good position and drawing a penalty, and there's no doubt.
Useful. Yeah, Chicharito's been useful the last couple of weeks. I know he scored with his hand against Fulham, but he was in the right place at the right time. So he's doing what he does. He did draw the penalty. I thought Issa Diop was fantastic. He's becoming one of my favorite players. Yeah. And let's give credit to Ogbonna, who played
well, for sure.
Really well. Ryan Fredericks looked good again. I think he's our future at right back. Mm-hmm. And listen, when Cresswell went off after he, banged heads and looked a little woozy, Masuaku, whose name I can never pronounce, Masuaku, whatever his name is. Anyway,
Yeah, that's like that.
Art. He was good. He was fine. You know, he was fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with him. You know, the gripe that I had, well, rewind. Okay, so Fredericks, you're talking about Fredericks. He has been looking awesome since Zavaleta started that last game that Zavaleta started.
Right.
Because Fredericks played a couple games, did okay, and then they started Zabaleta, and he was like, "What the fuck?" I mean, what the F? Whatever. But now all of a sudden, he's playing his butt off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he looked like he was playing for his job almost. I mean, this last game. I mean, he was playing awesome. You know, super hard. And this was the best performance I've seen out of Declan Rice yet. You know, I kept saying that when we were talking back to when he's switched over from Ireland to England. You know, I was saying that, listen, his best years are ahead of him. You know, he's not even there yet. I mean, that's what's so scary is that he's good right now, but he's not even close to being a superstar yet. And yet he showed a superstar performance against Newcastle. I mean, from beginning to end, all over the place. I mean, he was just everywhere we needed to be. His tackles were superb. Right spot, right time. He wasn't giving up on any lost balls from anybody. He was everywhere. And then that smashing with that giant head of his, it was just beautiful. It was gorgeous.
Helmet head. I think
Helmet head. Yeah, Cresswell coined that one. That's a good one. Now everybody's calling that to him. But no, my gripe though is that after 75 minutes, I felt like Lanzini should have come off. I mean, he is still not 100%, and he showed glimpses of rust throughout the whole game. And yes, he showed glimpses of greatness, you know, but at the same time, you shouldn't put him out for a full 90 yet, I didn't think. And then if you look at the scoreline, it being 2-0 at the half, the first half was perfect that's a 10-8 round, you know, in my book. And the second half was like 50-50, and you have a fully fit Nasri on the bench.
Yeah.
Just the last 25 minutes, just put Nasri in for him, and then who I think would work well with Felipe Anderson as well. You know, that might have scored another 2-3 goals, but at the end it was just kind of.
Do you think the Cresswell injury and you know, Masuaku having to come on, that may not have been in Pellegrini's plans, and that may have just messed up? Maybe
could be.
I doubt that.
Because I knew he needed to put Arnie on at some point. He had to. I mean, that's like in his contract or something. I don't know. But yeah. So Masuaku, and then who else was substituted? Sorry, I forgot. Obiang.
Came on
for Noble. I mean, Noble looked tired. Noble's running around like all over the place.
He has those matches, man, where he covers every blade of grass.
He was a workhorse.
He tries, yeah.
He didn't have like the best performance on paper, but if you watch the game, yeah, I mean, he put on a top-notch performance by his work rate.
I think you're spot on with Declan too. It's just getting to the point. You guys follow West Ham Fan TV, right?
Oh yeah,
I've been on it.
I was on it once. I was on the fan cam. Yeah,
for hearing that in one of your other videos.
Yeah, that was the best time.
Yeah, Ryan and Nikki, they say it. You know, it's like you get tired of saying it, like but you don't have to say it anymore. But he's our best player, and he goes out there week in and week out, and he's for a 20-year-old kid, like he's our first midfield. He's our best midfield choice, you know, and it kind of gets lost on you sometimes.
Yeah.
But when he goes up there and has a performance like he did, I think they gave Lanzini man of the match. But you know,
yeah, it's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah,
I thought Rice was better. Yeah, not Lanzini, but I thought Rice had a better game.
Rice is not going to get any worse either. That's the best part. You know what I mean? If he doesn't get any worse, I mean,
and if he stays healthy, if he stays healthy,
I mean,
that's
he looks like the type that won't get hurt. I mean, I don't know.
I've never seen anybody for West Ham anyway cover ground the way he does. He is everywhere. He's everywhere. He's all over the midfield, and this is what really
got this thing that he has no switch. He's there. He focus. I mean, he's everywhere.
He doesn't look that fast or that quick, but he's everywhere. I mean, he's just all over the pitch. There's number 41.
Amazing work rate and ethic. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't see people running away from him either. You don't ever see, you know, him just getting blown by or.
No, you don't.
That's true. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, he can defend, he can attack, but in terms of doing what he's supposed to do, keeping possession, pushing the ball forward, he's maybe the best I've seen play for us. You know, in the time I've been watching, the best I've seen do that. Period. And I know that maybe that's a lot to say. I mean, we had guys like Scott Parker who were, you know, he was a great player. But I thought this. I'm sure you followed the whole sort of scenario on Twitter with the Newcastle fans talking about this young guy,
Longstaff. Yeah.
Longstaff.
Yeah.
What a name, by the way.
Yeah.
They
call him Shortstaff now.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That picture was a million words. I mean, I'm telling you, that picture was awesome.
When that's your name, you better back that up. I don't know what. I'm not sure. Anyway.
Hey, can we have a timeout for a second?
Getting subbed off at halftime. Yeah, rub a little salt in the wound too.
Well, you got a yellow card and you got subbed off. Yeah. But listen, here's what I think the Newcastle fans did him a great disservice. All right. He's only played in 15, 16 games. I think Declan Rice has made like 50 appearances now or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
And they built him up to be this rival to Declan Rice. They built him up as, better than Declan. That's not fair to him. First of all, he's obviously not better than Declan Rice, not even close. But to me, they took a guy who's way too young. He's not at the same stage of development, and they tried to make him something he's not. And I think, I kind of blame them for making themselves look stupid and making him look bad. It's not a good way to treat a young star.
No.
So I don't know.
No, but at the same time, I didn't expect that performance out of Declan Rice, though. I mean, like I said before, he's been good all season long, but he's not put in a performance like that yet.
Not like that one.
That was beginning to end was just the best performance I've seen all season.
If that's what you said. It's not like he's going to get any worse. Like if we can get that, and expect that every week or consistently, they gotta
lock him down. They can't let the money get in the way. Meaning, I hope he never gets sold. I know that big clubs are going to come flying after him. Christ, even Real Madrid at some point is going to come after. You know what I mean? Like they come after everybody who's big. But my point is, if we are able to keep him for his whole career, then he will have it, stand named after him. I mean, they'll build a new stand for him. You know what I mean? If they have to. I
want to have faith in the board. I know nobody has faith in the board. I want to have faith in the board that they will understand the kind of player he is and will be for us, and that they won't take the bait.
Regardless, we don't know if they're going to be our board forever. His career is going to outlast them for sure. Whether it be 2 years or 5 years or 10 years from now, if he stays here. Yeah.
David Gold's 80 years old. So, I mean, God bless him. He may outlast David Gold, period. His career, was I'm saying, may outlast David Gold, period. I don't know. But this board, they did spend £100 million over the summer. They seem to be putting some effort into making the club better, to bringing in players who are guiding us closer to Europe. They brought in Felipe Anderson. They've brought in some talent. They brought in Fabianski, who's been a fantastic signing. And guys like Snodgrass, who have kind of been sneaky good. So I want to have faith in them that when the big clubs come, because they will, when the big clubs come and they start to talk about 40 million, 50 million, 60 million pounds and up, that they'll say, no, he's worth more than that to us. This guy, we've got him on contract for like 5 years. This is our future. He is our rock. He gets us into Europe. He pushes us into the top 6 and beyond. I hope they see him that way. And I know Pellegrini sees him that way. I have no doubt about that. So I think as long as Pellegrini's around and he has an influence, we'll be able to keep him.
Everton didn't see John Stones that way. You know what I mean? And look how much money they got for him.
That's the problem.
It's tough.
It's tough because, it's a business, and I think they get when you get the money to a certain point, it's hard for them to say no. It's hard for the owners to say no.
Yeah,
they figure we'll go out and buy 2 or 3 players with that, but you can't go buy 2 or 3 players like him. There's only one player like him. And I really believe that a lot of West Ham fans who go to those games every week, they do what they did against Burnley last season. They'd riot again if we sold it.
It would be ugly. It would be ugly. If the day that Declan Rice was ever sold, I think it would be
Listen, they'd care less about them selling Mark Noble to Tottenham, than Declan Rice to anybody. They wouldn't even care compared to.
Jared, have you been able to go over for a game yet?
No, that's
it's a must.
Bucket list item number 1, and
I understand.
And it's not as expensive as it has been over the last, 4 or 5 years or so. I mean, I wanted to go before the Bowl-In, before they left the Bowl-In. But at that point, from where I live, it was like $800 a round trip ticket, and that doesn't include the lodging, and then lodging over there is ridiculous. But in that back then, they didn't really have Airbnb and stuff like that. So this time around, last year, I the flight was $500 round trip.
Really?
That's a $300 savings from a couple of years ago. And I'm looking right now. If you look right now from Boston, it's like $547 for like for a week type of round trip. And then you talk about Airbnb, like 10, 20, 50, 30, $40 a night, whatever, compared to like the 120 pound plus a night hotels. I mean, you can really do it for less than $1,000.
Well, it's a real simple way to do it. Let me tell you the simple way to do it, Jared. Let me just tell you how I did it. I made friends.
I know you say what you said.
I made friends with the guy who's a pilot. All right, I went friends with a guy who lives up in New Hampshire. We're gonna have him on the show one of these days. He's a good dude. I made friends with a guy who's a pilot for Delta, and we flew first class for free. So
yeah. Give me that deal.
And because obviously as a pilot he has every conceivable hotel status you can have. We also stayed for free. all I paid for was match tickets and nights at the pub. So anyway, that was that's how you do it. I don't really know why everybody has such a problem with that.
No, it's not just that. So if the airlines being so low, man, even if you found another friend that went with you, you could save money on a hotel at least. Even if you didn't do the Airbnb thing, you could do a regular hotel, just share a room. I mean, whatever. But now's the time, man. The flights are dirt cheap compared to what they used to be. I don't know what it would be from Oklahoma, but
you know how it is. It's hard with kids. I mean, I can't. The biggest problem I would have right now, first of all, I'll let my passport expire, so I can't even leave the country. But beyond that, we all have kids. Tim has 2 kids as well, not far off of in age of ours. I think what's Max 10?
10 and 4. Yeah, I have a 10-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl.
So very similar. It's just hard. I mean, it would be really hard for me in a practical way to say to my wife, who loves the show and supports everything we're doing, and
She told me that face to face today. That was nice.
I know. No, she is. She's awesome. No, she's the best. She's wonderful. All I'm saying is, it would be hard for me to say to her, "Oh, hey, I'm going to spend like $1,000 and go to England on my own," and like because the option right now to take the boys and everything, it's that I don't think I can afford that. So
now we have an excuse, man. It's like we're going together. You know what I mean? We're doing this for the show.
At some point, well, listen, when David Sullivan and David Gold and Karen Brady decide they love us so much they want to have us over, then we'll do it. Yeah. Or when the boys get a little older and I can just take the 2 of them.
But Jared, we even talked about this before. We want to get all the guests that we've had on the show even together, or even figure out some way to get another get a group together and plan out something. Not here in the States, where that's been thought of in the past. Like have like a little convention here, but we'd like to take everybody or as many people as we could get and go over there and watch a match all together.
Oh, man,
I mean,
we can get better rates and stuff and on everything.
Let's talk about if you get a group of like 100 people or more, then you really do start talking about a lot cheaper flights. You're talking about group rates, group flights, group everything, and then it starts to be doable for a lot more people. Because
it'll be a great time.
And it'd be a great time, and you can go for like 3 days. You don't have to go for a week if you don't want. You can
exactly. You want to take all that much time off work and whatnot. Yeah.
So anyway,
definitely need to get it planned for sure. Like I say, it's number 1 on my list of things to do.
It's just,
once you go, you get addicted. You want to go back. It's like a tattoo, man.
I went to Poland almost 10 years ago. I went to Poland 9 years ago. I have not been in the Olympic Stadium, so I haven't been over in a long time. But yeah, it's something that we are working on here, like kind of with the channel. One of the reasons we want to show, we want Americans all to connect with each other who are West Ham fans and have a place to do it. We want to give them a digital place to do it, sort of. Mm-hmm. But I would also like to show the club, hey, you have a lot of support over here.
Yeah,
we've talked about this before. Tottenham has a big supporters group in Boston. The club sends them stuff. The club sends them like autographed shirts and balls.
Really?
Yeah. It's a state. Liverpool, of course, there's a lot of Liverpool fans here because the Red Sox owners own Liverpool.
I heard Man City does too.
Man City has a lot of fans.
No, I mean like they have. I mean, they give packages.
These clubs these clubs do this stuff. They have packages. They have. I used to know when I lived in France. I knew the head of the Manchester United fan club in Paris. And they would take like 100 people from Paris to, it's a much shorter trip, obviously, but they'd take 100 people over. So we're kind of trying to go to West Ham and say, hey, I don't know what we're asking for, but just acknowledge that we're here, you know,
Sure.
and that
Fly
we're
us
all
out.
country, not just in New York. Right? Yeah, right.
Give us the luxury suite.
No, of course they're going to want to grow the brand as much as possible. You know,
Of course.
Why wouldn't they?
I
Yeah.
think it's a massive opportunity, and we're not just in New York and LA. We're in Oklahoma, and we're in Tampa, and we're in Columbus, Ohio, and and we got people coming on from Denver, and I can't remember where else. Fresno,
Knoxville.
Knoxville.
We got San Antonio coming up.
Yeah, it's,
Obviously, New York City and Dallas and Fresno are the big ones, but I mean, we've had what else have we got, man? I'm telling you, we got Chicago coming on
Yeah.
in the future. We got them booked, and Charleston, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach.
everywhere.
So, yeah, man.
Let me ask you this: have you guys encountered a lot of other Premier League fans in Oklahoma City? Have you been when you've gone down to the pub? Have you seen Chelsea or Manchester United or whatever?
Yeah, and it kind of echoes the same. It's almost the same answer as the other people that have been on. The fans, I don't know if maybe they're just not as interested, but yeah, we see Chelsea fans, Man U fans, the occasional Spurs fan. Really, Man City only.
I got sick for a second. Don't say that word.
So yeah, I mean, we see them, and we've interacted with them, and I've been pretty disappointed, to be honest. When I go to talk to them about soccer or about football, like, hey, what do you think? How long you been? They're kind of just like, I'm here to have a couple of beers, like, whatever. Whatever. They have different reasons for being a fan of the team, but it's like the ones that I connect with. There was a guy that lived in Newcastle, and he lives there right by the pub now, and he was there every Saturday. I haven't been in a while, so I don't know if he's still around, but talking to him, talking to more of the downtrodden fans, talking to you see a couple of Crystal Palace fans, and those are the ones that I connect with way more than the Man U's and the Liverpools that walk in there. Oh, what's that?
That's my Crystal Palace by James Tompkins.
James.
Oh, James
Love
Tompkins.
James
I
Tompkins.
miss him every day.
You have to know about Tim that he
Listen,
loves James Tompkins.
All these
He's very
Slaven
angry with James Tompkins.
Village supporters, I'm telling you right now, listen, I'll never, ever, ever forgive Slaven Village for this, man. He should never have let an academy player who's played that many games with the club, worth that much money, and a defense that we've had that was injury-riddled, and look at him. He's playing games for Crystal Palace. Where's Winston Reed? Where's all these other guys? Oh, they're all injured. Oh God. Well, we could have had him.
Terrible manager. He was a secretly terrible manager who Dimitri Payet bailed him out.
Sorry. So don't say Spurs. Don't say Palace. Don't say Slaven Village on the show, or else.
Yeah, but if you're honestly though, I have to. I'm with you, Jared. I have to respect a Crystal Palace supporter in the U.S.
Oh, 100%.
I do.
100%.
Because again, that's somebody who is not there for the glory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know why somebody loves Palace, but there's probably a reason, and it's probably as legitimate a reason as we have for loving West Ham. As a matter of fact, I've read that the scenes in The Firm, the movie we're talking about, the BBC movie, the hooligan scenes in The Firm, were actually filmed at Selhurst Park, where Crystal Palace play.
Yeah.
I heard too, yeah.
Anyway, so there's a little weird shared history there.
I can't remember which mall, but I remember seeing somebody at the mall with the Brentford jersey, Brentford FC from the championship. And I'm telling you, like, stuff like that I find really cool. Or if I saw a Luton Town or something like that, or whatever, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anybody who supports a club like that, if we're a big club compared to the club you support, then I really respect
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the other coaches in Jackson's academy is a Norwich fan.
There you go. Yeah.
So, that was, I connect with people like that. I work with a guy, he's from Yorkshire, so I had to forgive him that he's a Manchester United, but he's an actual, fan, and he understands, like, I can talk football with him. That's different. But, to lead to your question, have I interacted? Yeah, I have. And there's a, just like almost in the table, there's a line, like anybody that's a fan of a team above that, I'm like,
Have you ever worn any of your have you ever worn any of your West Ham stuff in the street and had anybody come up and say anything to you?
Just one time. Guy just said, "Come on, you irons," from a distance, and
Really?
That's cool.
just threw it
See,
up,
that is
and
cool.
that was it. Other than that, people see it and they're like, "What's that?"
It's funny. The only people I've had come up to me, because I have a West Ham tattoo on my arm, and say, "Oh my God, is that a West Ham tattoo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you support?" And they're like, "No, we support Chelsea." I'm like, "Get out of here! Don't come on."
I've had people. I've been walking through Target with a West Ham shirt, and people comment on my West Ham shirt at Target. They're just like, "Oh, cool shirt,"
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. I think in a lot of ways, there's still a soccer culture here in the U.S. that's a little bit underground. I mean, it's it's more exposed than it used to be, but I think there's still a little bit of that kind of like, if you're a fan, there's a recognition that somebody else is a fan, even if it's not the same club. Because it is still a minority sport here. By minority, I mean not racial minority, but fan minority sport.
Yeah.
Right.
It's still something where there's kind of a shared recognition of like, oh yeah, you're a fan too, but there's going to be that's starting to go away as people jump on bandwagons like Manchester United, Manchester City, Arsenal, Tottenham, and they become as insufferable as over there. So, and we talked about this a little earlier too. You're an Oklahoma State guy. You went to Oklahoma State. And maybe some of our people watching here might be English, and we have a lot of English subscribers, oddly enough. Americans who don't watch college football probably don't know Oklahoma State is. I actually like Oklahoma State, but history-wise, it's kind of been a second fiddle to Oklahoma and the state of Oklahoma in football, which is the big.
Yeah.
So you said earlier that was another reason why you kind of understood West Ham, because it's not we're not top of the table. We're not a Champions League contender. We're more of an Oklahoma State than Oklahoma.
Oh, without question. And I even put it to Lee before we jumped on, and Tim, you were away. He said, "So are you an OU guy or an OSU guy?" I said, "You tell me. I want you to guess." And he's like, "No, that's too much pressure." So correlations, like, do you feel like a West Ham fan is the same type of fan as an Oklahoma fan? And he said, "Not at all." I said, "Well, there's your answer." It's very true. The underdog, the little brother, whatever you want to call it, it kind of drew me too. Fortune's always hiding, right? So it's like a lot of the same type of stuff. There are those years that Oklahoma State. This year was no different. We almost beat OU. We were a play away from winning that game. And
I wanted you so badly. I wanted you to win that game. Oh man, yeah. I always do, though. I always do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same with with West Ham. You see them, they do so well, and have a year like we did and finish 7th, and that's that was really like when I first started really getting into West Ham heavily was around that time, and when that happened, when the Payet. Sorry, I said it again, but when that all exploded, and I really got to start to interact with a lot of the fans on Twitter and seeing the guys on West Ham Fan TV, I can't give them enough credit. Like, I'm a bigger fan because of them, because the post-match pint, and
they are. I have to agree with you.
Yeah, this is what I do with my people.
They inspire between them and Hammer's Chat, and actually, Hammer and Talk. They actually inspired me to do this, and Lee was crazy enough to do it with me, and
our small group, we had a very similar idea. We just didn't have the elbow grease or the time, to do it. What you guys are doing right now it was kind of our idea. I'm not saying you took that idea. I'm saying like we wanted well. We wanted everybody to connect because,
this is where you guys can help us with this.
You can contribute, man. Absolutely, we need all of you to contribute.
We like to do these hour-long shows because we think people who really are into West Ham will watch an hour, and I think they do. We've had viewers. We have viewers live, but we want to do shorter form stuff. What we want to do is just, next time you watch a game, wherever you're watching, I don't care if you're watching at home, watching with Jackson, anywhere you are. Send us a quick video, say, here's what I think is going to happen in this game, then send us a post-match reaction. And what we want to do is aggregate all this stuff, put it up in the same place. So we've got, like, here's Jared from Oklahoma City, and he says, I thought Declan Rice was fantastic today. And here's, Kevin from Columbus, and he says, I think Lanzini was man of the match. I mean, we all have this in the same place, and we all get each other's positions. And then it's one of those things like, I go to Minneapolis for work a couple of times a year. I go to Atlanta for work a couple of times a year. If I ever Minneapolis, I try not to go in the winter, so it cuts out a lot of the season. But
Yeah.
but
Crazy.
if I get down there, if next time I'm down there when there's a match on, I'll try to stay over, a Saturday morning, and watch the game with the Minneapolis Hammers. We haven't talked to them yet, but I mean, the point is you can do that as you move around and. You meet people from other parts of the country, and so we want to be a place where everybody connects.
Yeah.
I went on vacation to Denver last year, and perfect example. We were there in March, and I wasn't as fully into Twitter and Instagram, having the account going. I didn't know where to reach out. I was like, man, it would be so cool. And so I did some Google searches, and there was an English pub that was there, but I didn't really find anything. Yeah, that's a perfect point, Lee, is to have a place where, hey, we're going to be in Myrtle Beach, this September. And if there's a match on that Saturday, I want to be able to just reach out and say, hey, you guys, anybody going to be at the match or whatever? Yeah, that's great. I really love what you guys are doing.
Thank you. So, no, listen, we can't do it without you guys, and we're so happy that everybody's coming on. And we have a bunch of great shows coming up too. But before we get into what shows are coming up, I do want to touch on the Cardiff game. There's really not much to talk about, really, other than if they keep the form, they win. But listen,
can you name 5 players who play for Cardiff? I can't.
Cardiff have not beaten West Ham in the Premier League.
Ever?
Only 3 matches.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Only 3 matches.
I don't know what my house is made out of, but
but the other good thing is that their form. I mean, we've both teams have won 2 out of the last 5 games, but Cardiff has lost their last 3 in a row. Cardiff is a tough team to play at Cardiff, and not because of the team as much as the fans. The atmosphere there is difficult even for the biggest clubs. Whether or not, they'll still lose to the big clubs, but the teams that they beat, they beat Southampton and Bournemouth most recently, but they lost 5-1 against Watford, 3-0 against Everton, and 2-0 against Wolves. And I was really hoping they were going to beat Wolves.
Oh, we need
that would have. Yeah, we need people to beat Wolves.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wolves and Watford are losing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that said, there's not really much else. If they keep the same type of lineup that they had against Newcastle, and if they prove Lee and I wrong about being inconsistent and actually maintain a form, then they should destroy them. Really, them in Huddersfield thereafter, and so on.
So a couple. I guess
I
would pose to you about Cardiff, both of you guys. If Balbuena is going to be back, if he's going to be available for selection, what does that do to center back selection? And another thing is, do you feel like Pellegrini is playing this Arnautovic situation correctly? Because I do. I feel like bringing him on has been the right move.
I think so.
Like, hey, you're not going to jerk us around and then just walk right back into the starting.
I think he's punishing him a little bit, and I think he should. I think he's doing the right thing. I think Pellegrini is a very smart guy. He came out last week at some point and said, I don't want to lose Zabaleta for next season. I'd like to keep him around next season. Listen, that's a message to Ryan Fredericks, right?
It is, yeah, and it seems to be working.
Yeah, you're playing well, but this is not your job. You don't have it locked up. You still have to fight for it. We're going to bring this guy back, or we're going to talk about bringing this guy back anyway. He's 35, 36 years old, but he's experienced. He's solid. You don't have a lockdown on right back. And he's saying to Arnautovic, to me, Sandro Arnautovic right now, hey, you want to jerk us around? You want to take off for China and end your career? You can come off the bench for a while. And it doesn't matter. We'll put Chicharito up top. It doesn't matter that he's slowing down. He has actually been pretty good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Off the ball, even on the ball. But he hasn't been scoring goals. But that's what everybody's crying for. Right now, they are saying, West Ham fans from all over the world are saying, Arnautovic better start next week because Chicharito isn't scoring.
Get out of town.
He did score against Fulham with his hand, and he did win the penalty. He did win the penalty that Noble scored.
Correct.
I don't love Chicharito, but you know what? He's been serviceable. And I'm going to tell you, you can't let another Payet situation happen.
Oh, no.
That blew us up for a whole season. I think what Pellegrini's doing, sitting Arnautovic and saying, all right, you come off the bench. And, because Arnautovic hates that. He hates it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can tell.
No.
You can tell. It's funny.
He was counting his money. He thought he was in China already. You could tell, like that.
Oh yeah, he was
did not
waving
go the
goodbye.
way he planned on it being, and now he knows he's got two options. He's like, hey, I can keep being a bastard like I am, and or I can go out there and bust my ass, and I can earn my spot back, and I think that's what he's doing. But again, Pellegrini's like, hey, you're not just gonna act that way. You're not just gonna treat the fans, the club, like your teammates that way, and then just walk back into the starting lineup. Like, I think it's going great. I think a lot of people feel that way too.
Absolutely. And the fact that we're winning without him and we're scoring without him, and not maybe it's not as much as we should, but we're winning and we're scoring without him. It goes to show him, hey, you don't run this club. You're not who you think you are. I think he's handling it well. Whether he comes back or not, I mean, I highly doubt he comes back next season. In a way, I kind of hope he does, because I still think he's a good player. And I don't think anybody else is going to want him now.
Yeah.
But Pellegrini's like a parent. Pellegrini's like a parent who's saying, maybe you get your privilege back, maybe you don't. You're still grounded. You know what I mean? You go to school and you go to band practice, but you're still grounded and you're still going to come off the bench. You're not going to start again. As for Balbuena, I have been looking so forward to him coming back. However, Ogbonna's been so good.
Yeah.
The last couple of games, and Diop to me is still very, very solid. I'm just a huge fan of his, actually. I don't think Balbuena gets right back into the starting 11. I don't either. I don't think he should.
Center back isn't a position that you see subbed a lot either.
No, it's not, and it shouldn't be. That should be a 90-minute player.
Yeah.
Really, only if you have an injury or if somebody's absolutely a disaster do you see that sub. I think it's going to take some time, and that's a testament to how well Ogbonna has done. And listen, it's better to have competition for these positions than it is to have one. Last season when Winston Reed went down, or when we'd have one player go down to a position to be like, now we have to scramble. We had Antonio at right back, we had all kinds of craziness. I think what Pellegrini's doing is he's setting up a side that has cover, and where guys have to fight for their jobs. And Balbuena is not just going to step right back in because he's had somebody else come in who's fought for the job, and I think that's good. It's healthy competition. It's good.
100%.
And if Ogbonna, God forbid, if he breaks his ankle against Cardiff, well, maybe then Balbuena is able to step in and we're not screwed.
Yeah, I think, I agree with you. Yeah, I wouldn't jump him right in.
Well, I don't know. What do you think about that, Jared? What's your take?
Yeah, so I'm happy to see him back. I do think Pellegrini's got an eye on next year. He's already even said, we're close to where we want to be. Europe is maybe not this year, and you all have spoken on it a few times, and but I think he's looking to the future. I think Ogbonna's doing well. Diop has become. He's still around. He has some moments, where he looks like a 23-year-old kid or whatever. But he's a monster, man. That guy is so just like
he's a beast. That's what I love about him. He has no fear. He has no fear.
He's a juggernaut. He's what you want right there in the the middle of your defense, the heart of your defense. You got Declan Rice in front of that. Like your defense wins championships. Like that's where you want it to start, and that's awesome. But then you have a veteran guy like a Balbuena. He came in, and I think he really helped Issa. At the very beginning. I think Ogbonna has continued to as well. With all that being said, I don't think he walks back into the starting 11. I think it would be spot duty. Maybe to relieve Ogbonna on a start here or there. But yeah, I think it's going to be an intense summer to see who's going to be the top pairing to come out in August.
And having depth at West Ham United is something that we've never had.
Yeah,
all in the club. I mean, it's always been okay. We have, let's say, 14 or 15 players at the most who are serviceable players. But you'd see like a Cresswell go down, and all of a sudden, you're having to put like a midfielder back in the back line, or you have to shuffle people around because we never had any depth. Depth is good. I know it's hard to keep. I know players want to play, but competition for spots is good and depth is good. And so you see Cresswell goes down. Masuaku, again, Arthur comes in and he does a very serviceable job. Cresswell, you don't have to put somebody on who's not a natural, right back or left back. You don't have to put somebody on who does not used to be in the back four. You have somebody who can play that position competently, because we have a little bit of depth, and I think that's refreshing.
Yeah, it's a great thing to have.
We just have a professional manager now, you know.
Yeah, we do. It's night and day. Yeah,
Maybe the first
anything we've had in a while.
you know,
The consistency has changed just in the time, like I said, in the last 5 years that I've been a fan. I've seen going from Sam to, I'm not going to say his name for you, Tim.
Thank you.
And then on to Pellegrini. Just seeing the consistency, the professional approach, and building that depth, working with the academy. Being Donna Rice, now Ben Johnson,
Ben Johnson. Yep.
That is huge. That is huge. They're the lifeblood. That's big. If you're not selling them, making a profit, getting other players, like you want to bring them in, and us showing, hey, we've got the best young player in England came through our academy, and he's really getting a shot right now.
It's the legacy of West Ham too.
It is.
This Academy of Football, and for many years we stopped being the Academy of Football, and now we've got these young players coming through, and I love seeing. Everybody always says, West Ham fans always say, play the youth. But if you did that the last 4 or 5 years, the result was disastrous. Now they can play. These young guys can play. Michael Rice can play. Johnson was very good against Manchester.
I thought he was really good.
So these guys who have stepped in, in the last this season.
I know y'all have already talked to Man City, but how many times did they switch the ball to Ben Johnson, like put him in a 1v1 situation? I probably counted 6 times in a 20-minute span. They're like, we're going after him, and he held his own. I thought he was great.
Held his own, and I'm going to tell you something else. About that game. We talked about this. The last show we did with. I don't remember who it was. Was it David? Tim? I think it was David.
Boston.
Yeah, it was David from Boston. Yeah, our friend here in Boston. Listen, all I'm saying is Manchester City gets that bogus penalty. All right, they get the bogus penalty. They get the 3 points, but they should have had 1. Then what happens? Liverpool draw at Everton, and all of a sudden, Man City's on top of the title race by 1 point.
It was Jason with Queen City, wasn't it?
It was Jason. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Jason. They should still be behind. I don't care who wins the title. It doesn't matter to me. That they should still be behind Liverpool.
They should.
I wonder sometimes about the Premier League if it's 100% up and up all the time. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I know you've talked about it.
Don't start that now, please.
No,
God.
Wait. Referees get caught up, all right? Whether there's any actual, corruption or not. Referees are human beings. They get caught up in the atmosphere.
Of course.
He was at the Etihad. I'm telling you, if that's West Ham playing at Newcastle, at Cardiff, at any place, that's not a penalty.
No.
It's not a penalty. It just wasn't. So anyway, I'm still a little angry about it because that would have been such a massive.
There's plenty of bias. I just don't know if. Yeah, again, we mentioned that. I don't think it's corruption as much as bias.
No, I don't.
For the big clubs.
Sorry, go ahead, Lee.
The league likes a title race. Is all I'm saying.
Okay.
But now they got one.
They got one.
They've got a great one. They needed Man City to win.
But it would have happened.
I buy into that some for sure. That it's at least in the back of their mind.
But the title race would still be going on, even if that didn't happen.
Well, but it would.
It should be. They'd be down 2 points.
It would have required Liverpool to lose, and they've only lost 1 time all season.
Let me ask you this, because Pellegrini talked about it. Like almost the exact same type of foul happens to Lanzini in their box.
Yes.
Right before, what was that? 10 minutes? Not even 10 minutes. Before that? If he goes down, there's no way he's calling a penalty.
No, we're never getting that call ever. And I'll tell you something else. There was, I think it was 2 years ago. I think it was 2 seasons ago. Somebody, one of the British publications, I don't remember who it was, actually did a league table of clubs that have had the worst calls go against them. And we were top of the table. In other words, we had the most go against us. Now, this was an objective. This wasn't a West Ham blogger, all right? This was like one of the red top newspapers. We had the most go against, and it wasn't even close. I mean, they did a kind of a study of all the sort of controversial calls. They went back and looked at the replay and said, okay, which ones of these were pretty demonstrably bogus, more against us than anybody else. Again, I think that's probably coincidence more than anything else. But all I'm saying,
feel like it.
But when Chicharito scores with his hand, you know what? They owe us one. And now after Manchester City, they owe us another one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, boys. It's time to wrap it up. We have, listen, thank you so much for coming on, Jared. I appreciate it. I've been looking forward to this for a while now.
Yeah.
It's finally here in our next 4 episodes. Just so everybody knows, we got Fresno. That'll be a lot
That's
of
gonna
fun.
be
That's gonna be a real good one on Thursday. So please, everybody, tune in for that. We got a week from today. We got New York City Hammers on, man. I'm really excited about that one.
We're going,
And
from Alex, Oklahoma to New York City. And we,
yeah,
good.
yeah, isn't that crazy?
500, yeah.
And then the following 2 episodes we have is March 14th. We have the Mile High Hammers out of Denver. And I think that's our first multi-guest. This was supposed to be our first multi-guest, but actually I think the Mile High one's going to be our first multi-guest episode, meaning we'll have 2 different people on at least, along with Lee and I. And then
We'll see if it works.
we'll see. We need to test it out, see if it works. The 17th, which is the following Sunday, the one after the New York City one, is Alamo City Hammers. That'll be a good
I
one
love
too.
San Antonio. It's a great city. I love it. Yeah.
Yep. And then I think we got Myrtle Beach after that. Not Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach? Yeah, Myrtle Beach after that. And then Chicago. I mean, it's so on and so on and so on. Listen, this is awesome. Our schedule is filled up, and we couldn't do it just doing 1 a week. You know what I mean? There's so many groups. And then just so everybody knows, after we go through, all the groups that we can and try to fit them all in, you're gonna notice that we're gonna start doing just American West Ham fans, whether they have a group or not. Just have them join us
And
on Sundays. And
please, whenever you watch this, please, again, and Jared, we'd love to get this from you too. Everybody who's done this with us already, send us your videos from the pub or at your house, wherever you are. Send us your post-match reactions. Send us your goal celebrations. I don't care if they're 5 seconds long. Everybody loves
previews, anything. Yeah.
anything.
Or your history of how you became a West Ham fan. If we hadn't had you on the show, even if you want to talk about that,
you can send us. You can Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or AmericanHammersTV@gmail.com. Another big files, but we want everybody to participate. We want it to be our channel, as in the global hour of all West Ham Americans, and not just 2 guys in the greater Lowell, Massachusetts area. So,
and please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. Please get all your other West Ham fans in your groups. The groups that we've already been on. Please get them to subscribe to the channel and also watch the videos. Even if they don't want to watch the videos, please subscribe. Just subscribe. Subscribe. And then what's the other thing? I don't know if you guys have noticed or anybody else, if you watched every episode of this, I'm always drinking a coffee every episode. So please, if there's a coffee sponsor out there that wants to hook me up, with a nice little mug and some decaf.
I need a back.
It is late at night, so decaf's good.
This is the wall of my attic back here, okay? And it kind of slants. if you want your logo back here, big corporations, we're open to that.
I would just buy Lee another West Ham flag or some posters.
You know what West Ham flag?
I got these on eBay. A couple weeks ago.
My Isaac had to do, my 8-year-old had to do a project on his family's cultural heritage. And he chose England because, Pender is a pretty English name. We're from England basically 300 years ago. He chose England, and he did a little report on England. And then he had to bring in like an artifact from England. So he brought the West Ham flag to school.
I was wondering
which is where it still is. So it's going to be
cool. It's got the English flag in the back. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so he's brought a huge West Ham flag to school. So that's why I'm blank tonight. I got nothing. I've got.
But you got your jersey. That's what matters.
I got my shirt. And I
got the old school crest on tonight.
I love it. Me too.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you again a million times over for coming on. I really hope that people come down to Skinny Slims, is it called?
Skinny Slims.
And also, you guys are all over social media. So if anybody wants to check out the Oklahoma Hammers, they are on Facebook and they are on Instagram and everything else. So if you guys are within an hour drive, or even longer, if you feel like driving, meet these guys for a pint and watch the West Ham match, please get in touch with them. We're all over social media too. So if you guys are coming over from Twitter to watch us, or you're coming over from Facebook, or you're coming over from Instagram, follow us on all sorts of social media. We're everywhere. You know what I mean? And we also have an email address to send us those videos that Lee was talking about throughout the episode. It's AmericanHammersTV, all one word, @gmail.com. All right. And guys, just stick on for 1 second as we go off. But West Ham till I die.